been involved with because I'm real private. But yeah. But no, you got to. When you publicly place your life out on the line where people can see it and get in your business, then guess what? So many people were praying against our relationship, and I mean that. I mean that without a shadow of a doubt. I know without a shadow of a doubt, everybody was like, people would call me. And you'll be surprised at people that will call me and try to make me feel bad. And I think that's a lot of what I had going on. He don't care about you for real, or it's just a game, or you're a pawn, and he used to be with a lot of women. And that was heartbreaking. Exactly, people change, and I know this was a good man. Nobody could tell me anything differently. Even if we were just friends, this man treated me the way I wanted to be treated. You know how you ask God for something, and he give it to you, and he set it up for you just right. And then he put it in a nice black box, gift wrapped. It was a nice box gift wrap. But my fear of being broken, my fear of heartache, me allowing people to call me and make me feel less than or talk to me. And then sometimes he would say things that would throw me off. And I just got to the point where I'm like, he's a successful business owner. I wanted to align with him. I wanted to match with him. I was working my ass off. I don't even know how many jobs I was working because I wanted to, if we got together, I wanted to have all my money. I was liquidating assets. Yeah, I know, but it was more than that. I was on overdrive. When I set up for my retirement at 45, I had $4 million set aside to retire before Mama got messed up. I wanted to be back there, and I didn't even just want $4 million. I wanted $6 million. I was busting my butt. I was working like crazy, and my work ethic. Yeah. I was working like crazy, but then reality kicked in. Like, you know what? Everything ain't gonna be the same. You're not gonna always be able to get or do the things that you want or get back in that same realm. And I just started to slow down because it's like I was working my butt off. I was trying to balance work. I was balancing home life. I was balancing, making sure whatever he needed, I was there for him. You know how I be. He would call it double dutching, but I have so many hands. I'm juggling, stand on my tippy toes. And I was trying to do everything I could to just get my life in order because I had just moved back over in the house over the big house. I left Steiner, my beautiful home. I left it. I sold it. I liquidated so many of my assets, and I was just trying to pay off everything, pay off all my debts, pay off all those medical bills. I will. And it's like the more I was liquidating, the more I was paying out, the more I was doing, the more I was putting out. But you know how I always would have a CD set up and I put money set things aside. I just wanted to be in perfect alignment with this man. I wanted to do everything right, but I kept that brick wall up because I felt like I wanted to make sure I was right and ready for him. I wanted to make sure that I didn't want to come with no bills. I didn't want to come with no extra problems.
A lot of them don't think like that.
They don't because they look at a man and they think that he's a bank. Okay, I'm just gonna use him. Like a friend of mine, my cousin. She was like, when I told her that I fell for somebody, and the first thing she said, "Do we have money?" And that kind of intimidated me because back in the day, you know how it was. You lived with me. Back in the day, I wasn't playing. I wasn't taking no wooden nickels, and I wasn't taking nothing. I wasn't taking no shit. I was abusive. That's why I say that I know that. That song said, "I know I've been changed." I know I've been changed.
I know I have.
I know exactly. I know I've been changed. I know I was willing to do almost anything, sacrifice my soul and give my soul. When you are in a place where you're willing to give your soul to God, and somebody, I feel like I'm having this wine, y'all, but he turned water to wine, so let me go and drink up. I ain't being fun, I'm being serious. I feel like I'm not gonna get toe up, but I have never, ever felt that way.
What made you not go ahead surrender?
I surrendered in a way.
Have a wonderful night. Bye, boys. You guys are doing really good. Thank you.
But I don't know. Every time I got with him, he would be to talk about God, or we done said something so sweet and peaceful, and I get scared.
Oh, wow.
And I ain't no, you know, I ain't no scared person. I'ma go after what I want. I'ma boss up, and I'ma own it. But with this person, I wanted him, because of his history, I wanted him to love me. And I believe he loved me. I know he loved me. I do. But in the end, he just loved me as a friend. We became friends, and you know, in the end, we went out on a date, and people were like, "Oh, y'all look so great together. Y'all look like, you know, matches." And we danced together. You know how I am about kissing. I kissed this man. Yeah, I'm serious. I kissed him. And I ain't kissed nobody since I was 18 years old. Exactly. That was the first time I ever put my mouth on somebody. And it was scary, but I was happy. We touched. We had like the best time. And he was like, "I had so much fun. We got to do this again." But when in actuality, it was over with. But I know.
Did you share with him how you felt about it?
I didn't know how to, because he was too busy trying to build on other things that I just kept keeping up a wall. I kept just trying not to. I was just like, okay, once I get everything together. But you know what? That's why you got to jump. That's what I'm telling you. Just jump. Because the whole time, you know, just freaking jump. It's because I didn't. The whole time, the energy was there. The chemistry was there. I could name so many times that I could have just fell in his arms, and I knew he would have held me, and everything would have been probably okay, you know. Even if it was on a lustful tip, but the connection that he and I had was like no other person that I had. He understand me. Yeah. But you know, like I said, you can't live in regret, because I be regretting some things that I didn't do. You know, and it was probably more. And this is my heart. This is my heartbeat. My heartbeat for him. I pray for him more than I pray for myself. I pray for his success. I ask God daily.
That God felt like you had him.
That's why I was kind of feeling like God was thinking that maybe I was idolizing him, and I was worshiping, and I was loving him more than him. And he had to punish me. He had to bring me down a notch. But in actuality, what he didn't realize is that this man was activating something within me that just wanted me to grow farther and deeper in God. I wanted us to go to church together. I wanted us to build together. I wanted to have my life so in order that it was nothing he had to worry about when we did unite, that it would be a peaceful unite. I wouldn't have to be out working that much. I was working my ass off.
You always had.
Yeah.
Ever since you always had.
Well, I ain't had no other choice.
Ever since I remember Denny's when I was
young. I know. I was like, what, 12?
Yeah.
12. I started working probably as soon as I could look over a hospital bed. But I wanted things to be perfect. I wanted everything to be aligned in the right way. I didn't want to be with somebody that's like, okay, I got all these bills, I got all these problems. I wanted to be able to be home at a certain time so I can make sure that our dinner's together. We sit and we pray and we ate together. I wanted us to be a family. You know, I got 2 small children. That was another problem. Some people can deal with children, but I ain't got no bad children. They respectful, but it's yes or no, sir. Regardless of what they do out in the streets, at the end of the day, my house is in order. As far as my children are concerned, ain't no man and nobody got to worry about my kids being disrespectful, because I don't care how old my kids is, I'm mollywop them. You're not supposed to be disrespectful to nobody, and nobody I've ever dated have ever had any disrespect for my kids. But jump. My girl was broken. I'm still hurt. I'm still picking up the pieces. Because like I said, I ain't never been in love before for real. I thought I was in love. I thought that this was it, and I loved somebody more than I loved myself. I never thought it was somebody that I would sacrifice as much as I would sacrifice for my children to be a man or the opposite sex other than my mama. I never ever thought that that day would ever come. I was guarded. I had a wall up. I didn't believe. I didn't feel love. I wasn't accepting love. I was tired of fake love. and nobody know who I've been involved with, because